You already know that thousands of years ago, dinosaurs used to exist in this world. We are told that these massive creatures died out 66 million years ago. Our science books say that their bones turned to stone and their DNA broke down into nothingness. So why are they suddenly showing up on camera, still alive? Over the last few years, eerie videos have gone viral across the internet. These are clips that experts said were impossible, showing animals that were supposed to be gone forever. Some of them might just be clever tricks, but others remained completely unexplained. In today's video, I'm going to show you the most terrifying and mysterious dinosaur videos ever caught on camera, and you will have to decide what you are truly looking at. Number 9. The Russian lab dinosaur. What if a dinosaur was hiding in some secret lab right now? It sounds crazy, but this video made millions of people believe it could be completely true. Imagine cold, grainy footage from the past. The video claims to show a real, living dinosaur running through Russia back in 1950, according to the dark rumors. A soldier leaked this confidential footage straight from a secure military base. When this video finally hit the internet, people went wild. Therefore, the idea of a secret Soviet experiment keeping prehistoric beasts alive gripped the public's imagination. But science tells us a very different story. DNA breaks down over time. After about 7 million years, absolutely nothing remains. Because dinosaurs died 66 million years ago, we are way too late to clone them. Here is the problem with this supposed leaked footage. Investigators looked closer and traced the video back to one source, the movie Jurassic Park. Someone took the famous Gallimimus stampede scene, flipped it sideways, and turned it into black and white. The exact same trees from Steven Spielberg's film appear clearly in the background. Therefore, this so-called leaked Soviet footage is just Hollywood CGI covered with a vintage filter. There are no hidden velociraptors, and there are no secret labs. There is just clever editing fooling millions of viewers. Number 8. Flying pterosaurs. Picture a massive, terrifying shadow passing over the trees in broad daylight. Pterosaurs were massive creatures that ruled the skies for over 150 million years. The largest of them had wingspans of 36 feet, which is longer than a school bus. Here is something most people get wrong about them. Pterosaurs weren't actually dinosaurs at all. They were flying reptiles that simply lived alongside them. Science tells us they vanished 66 million years ago when an asteroid hit Earth. Seeing one flying today should be entirely impossible. Yet, in 2015, a strange and unsettling video surfaced from Boise, Idaho. Someone filmed a huge creature soaring above the trees in broad daylight. At first glance, it looked like a giant bird, but the shape was all wrong. It possessed a long, pointed crest on its head, leathery wings, and absolutely no feathers. People went crazy online, and millions watched the clip, with many believing it was a living pterosaur. Dr. Leif Tapanila, a paleontologist from the Idaho Museum of Natural History, wasn't convinced in the slightest. He said the video actually made him laugh out loud. Animation experts agreed with him, noting that the wing movement looked fake, and the shadows simply didn't match the environment. The creature was never spotted again. There were no bones found, and no other footage ever surfaced. We are left with just one viral video that sparked an endless, unresolvable debate. Number 7. The Florida baby dinosaur. This security camera recorded something at 3:40 a.m. in a Florida backyard. Late at night, when the world is completely silent, a home security system in Palm Coast, Florida captured a mysterious creature moving through the darkness in April 2021. Christina Ryan owned the property. When she watched the video back, what she saw left her entirely stunned. A small, two-legged creature was sprinting rapidly across her yard. It moved unlike any normal animal she had ever seen before. She told Fox 35 News that maybe she had watched Jurassic Park too many times. But she saw a raptor, or other small dinosaur. Ryan sent the footage to local news stations, and within hours, it spread across the internet like wildfire. Everyone suddenly had a theory about what was hiding in the dark. Some people thought it was a Komodo dragon that had escaped from somewhere. Others believed it was just a sandhill crane out for a late-night walk. The most popular explanation was that it was simply a dog wearing a harness, dragging its leash behind it. Ryan aggressively disagreed with all of these ideas. She pointed out that the creature clearly had front legs. Therefore, A bird made absolutely no sense. The video looked deeply real to most viewers, but the true identity of this late-night visitor remains a complete mystery. Number 6. The Velociraptor. Imagine stepping into the pitch-black mouth of an unexplored cave, your flashlight barely cutting through the dark. You hear a rapid clicking of claws on stone. You point the camera, and for one terrifying second, a nightmare from 70 million years ago sprints out of the shadows. The Velociraptor was nature's perfect killing machine. Forget the towering movie monsters. Real raptors were the size of a large dog, covered in feathers, and built purely for speed and slaughter. They stood only 1.6 feet tall at the hip, stretching about 6 feet from nose to tail, but size meant absolutely nothing to them. They ruled the harsh lands of Asia millions of years ago, using sickle-shaped claws over 2.5 inches long to pin down their prey exactly like modern eagles do today. These creatures didn't stay in one spot. They spread like a plague across the continent. Hunting with ruthless efficiency, science insists these small, swift predators were wiped off the map 66 million years ago. Therefore, their bones were buried beneath the dirt, turning to dust under the expanding footprint of humanity. We pushed into every corner of the planet, cutting down forests and building cities, assuming the apex predators of the past were dead and gone. But in 2016, a woman exploring a remote Canadian cave recorded something completely impossible. She heard a strange noise, raised her camera toward the darkness, and captured a fast-moving two-legged creature darting past the lens. When experts slowed the footage down, the shape was undeniably a hunched, long-tailed runner that perfectly matched the anatomy of a raptor. The video remains unexplained, a dark hint that as humans push deeper into the wild might just push back with teeth that were supposed to be extinct. The plesiosaurs. Picture a massive fishing net being dragged up from the crushing black depths of the ocean. The winches scream under the weight of something impossibly heavy. The fishermen peer over the edge of the ship, expecting a record catch. But what breaks the surface makes their blood run cold. Plesiosaurs dominated the Earth's oceans for over 135 million years. These ancient marine reptiles were terrifyingly graceful, using 4 massive flippers to literally fly underwater. They were the undisputed hunters of the deep, swallowing fish and squid while their 50-foot bodies glided silently through the dark waters. Their massive jaws and razor-sharp teeth ensured that absolutely nothing escaped their grasp once they locked onto a target, like the dinosaurs on land. They were erased by an asteroid 66 million years ago. The oceans turned cold, the food chain collapsed, and the reign of the plesiosaur ended in the dark. Therefore, the seas were left to whales and sharks, with these long-necked leviathans reduced to mere museum exhibits built from scattered fossils. Until April 25, 1977, the Japanese fishing ship Zuio Maru hauled up a massive rotting carcass from 300 meters down off the coast of New Zealand. The terrified crew took photographs of a massive creature weighing nearly 4,000 pounds, possessing 4 large flippers and a long, unmistakable neck. Marine biologists desperately tested tissue samples and claimed it was just a decayed basking shark, but the body was thrown back into the deep before it could be fully preserved. We are left with nothing but haunting photographs of a beast that was swallowed back by the ocean forever. Number 4. The Mosasaurus. You're looking at the sparkling blue waters off a popular tourist beach. The sun is shining, the water is calm, but just beneath the surface, a shadow the size of a school bus is sliding silently toward the shore. The Mosasaurus was the absolute tyrant of the Cretaceous seas, the undeniable T-Rex of the ocean, reaching over 50 feet in length. It possessed a skull the size of a grown man and double-hinged jaws packed with 50 razor-sharp teeth. It was warm-blooded, terrifyingly fast, and could bite straight through a whale's chest, swallowing its victims whole without a single shred of mercy. It wore dark black skin, hiding perfectly in the depths, before launching itself upward to crush anything in its path. An asteroid ended its global dominance 66 million years ago, plunging the world into a nuclear winter that starved these colossal predators to death. We believed the oceans were finally safe from double-hinged jaws and bone-crushing power. But in 2013, tourists off the coast of Corfu, Greece, noticed something massive breaking the surface. They grabbed their cameras and captured an eerie, serpent-like head attached to a colossal body drifting through the water. The creature's anatomy perfectly matched a prehistoric Mosasaurus, sending chills down the spines of everyone who viewed the viral photograph. With 95% of our oceans completely unexplored and 80% entirely unmapped, we are left to wonder if the monsters we fear the most never actually left. Number 3. Mokele-mbembe, deep in the uncharted heart of the Congo Basin. A river cuts through a jungle so unimaginably thick that sunlight never reaches the mud below. You hear the terrifying snap of crushing trees and the sickening drag of a heavy tail pulling through the swamp. For centuries, the local tribes living near the Liala swamp have whispered a single name to describe this nightmare. The sauropods were the towering titans of the ancient world, completely untouched by the rest of the food chain. With bodies as large as buildings and long sweeping necks, they consumed entire forests, reshaping the earth itself with every single footstep. They were untouchable mountains of flesh and bone, moving with a slow, terrifying grace. The asteroid supposedly wiped every last one of them off the map 66 million years ago. But the deepest parts of Africa never received that memo. Tribes who are completely disconnected from the outside world, living in villages hundreds of miles apart, all describe the exact same creature. They speak of a 40-foot animal with red-brown skin, an elephant-sized body, and a serpent's neck that peacefully eats malumbo plants in the dark waters. This single, eerie detail, massive, dinosaur-like beast that eats flowers made brilliant scientists stop laughing and start packing their bags for the jungle. Expeditions uncovered massive unexplained footprints as far back as 1776, and reports from 1909 describe something that sounded exactly like a living, breathing dinosaur. Team after team marched into the swamp with cameras and advanced recording tools, yet the jungle defeated them every single time. Therefore, the legend remained a ghost story until 2001, when a television crew filming deep in the Congo finally caught something terrifying on camera. The shaky, chaotic video shows a massive, long-necked shape moving steadily across the river, looking exactly like a sauropod from a million years ago. While skeptics desperately try to label it an elephant, the grainy footage refuses to be completely debunked. In 2023, new teams prepared drones to fly over Lake Tele, desperate to pull tiny fragments of DNA from the murky water. The jungle swallowed the creature back into the darkness, leaving us to wonder if extinction is just a story we tell ourselves to feel safe. Number 2. The Megalodon. Picture sinking into the freezing, pitch-black abyss of the Mariana Trench, the water pressure threatening to crush your lungs. A shadow passes over you, blocking out the faint, artificial light from your submersible. It isn't a whale. It's a predator the size of a commercial airplane, armed with serrated teeth specifically designed to shatter solid bone. For nearly 20 million years, the Megalodon was the undisputed nightmare of the global oceans. Growing up to 50 feet long, its terrifying jaws possessed enough sheer force to bite straight through a living whale's chest. Absolutely nothing in the ocean stood a chance, turning massive sea turtles, seals, and whales into effortless meals. Baby megalodons ruthlessly practiced hunting in warm coastal waters before migrating outward to become the deadliest predators the sea has ever known. When the oceans grew violently colder and their prey moved toward the poles 3.6 million years ago, food became almost impossible to find. Therefore, the greatest killer the sea had ever birthed simply vanished, leaving behind only fossilized teeth that ancient cultures collected, shaped into weapons, and worshipped as magic stones that fell from the sky. Science stamped them extinct, sealing their fate in history books. But the ocean is vast, unforgiving, and mostly unexplored. In March of 2017, a robotic deep-sea camera resting silently on the dark seabed recorded something completely impossible. A colossal silhouette drifted right past the lens, revealing a creature of such massive, prehistoric size that it defied every known law of modern marine biology. The shape was undeniably that of a shark, yet its scale was mathematically impossible for a great white. We proudly claim that the Megalodon is dead. Yet we tremble every time something massive brushes against our legs in the dark water. Number 1. The woolly mammoth. Imagine a beast the size of a school bus, wrapped in thick matted fur, marching through a howling blizzard at -50 degrees. Its 15-foot tusks curve forward like massive snowplows, sweeping the brutal ice away to reveal the dead grass buried underneath. Millions of these giant, intelligent creatures once dominated every frozen plain on Earth, stretching from Spain all the way to Alaska. They were the undisputed kings of the Ice Age, moving in highly social, deeply bonded families across a freezing world where weaker animals died in their tracks. Then, the planet warmed, glaciers violently melted, and their endless grasslands shrank into soggy, inescapable forests. Human hunters drove spears into their sides, pushing their shattered, starving herds past the breaking point. The last isolated group of just 8 mammoths retreated to Wrangel Island. Eventually growing to a herd of 300, they survived there for 6,000 years, outliving their mainland brothers until a sudden, mysterious plague or catastrophic storm wiped them out completely. They drew their last breaths while the Egyptian pharaohs were already building pyramids. The world believed they were a permanently closed chapter of prehistoric history. Then, in March 1943, a German military photographer named Holger Hildebrand pointed his camera at the frozen Siberian wasteland and filmed a living, breathing woolly mammoth trudging slowly through the blinding snow. Decades later, in 2012, another shocking, shaky video surfaced showing a massive, hairy beast with a long trunk fighting the current to cross a freezing Siberian river. While skeptics rush to call these videos clever hoaxes or simple bears carrying fish, the chilling silhouettes refuse to leave our collective nightmares. We spend millions trying to clone them from preserved DNA in sterile laboratories, completely blind to the terrifying possibility that the ice never actually gave them up. Looking into the eyes of these prehistoric titans, even through grainy, decades-old footage, forces us to realize how fragile our understanding of the world truly is. We draw lines on maps and declare entire branches of life completely dead simply because we haven't seen them lately. But the oceans are deep, the jungles are thick, and the ice holds onto its secrets with a deadly grip. If you found this video interesting, check out this next one and subscribe if you don't want to miss what's coming.